This will be how to remove the front axle so you can change the tire on your Ducati SuperSport. The tools required, you're going to need a 30mm socket. You're going to need a 4, 6, and 8mm Allen key. A couple different torque wrenches because the range and torque values between the different bolts. So you're going to need a 1/4 inch and a 3/8 or 1/2 inch. A flex head socket wrench or flex head wrench really helps to get underneath to get the triple tree plate out of the way. And then for the front axle, you're going to need this little tool from Ducati. Mine, I mail ordered it and it wasn't made very well. That pin is supposed to be even on both sides, but mine still worked. And luckily enough, the pin or this front axle tool is really cheap. It was $3.99 and the part number is 800070139. And then to hold the front axle tool, you're going to need like a long shank screwdriver or a 1/4 inch socket extension, and what you're going to do is slide that through and then grab on the other side, both sides of that, to stop the axle from spinning. Then of course you're going to need a front and a rear stand. So after you have your tools assembled, the first step is going to be to remove this little plate that blocks the triple trees. So there's 3 bolts that hold it in place. There's 1, 2, and 3. So once you remove that plate out of there, you'll have access to the bottom of the triple trees where your triple tree front stand will grab onto the bike. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove the front brake calipers. So there's just 2 pins there. They're 8mm. So you're just going to pull those out. And then some videos talked about having to loosen the master cylinder cap in order to wiggle the brake calipers and the pistons out so you can get it out around the rim. But on my bike, I didn't need to do that. My front stand has like a stand where these are supposed to be held on, but the brake cables, you don't really have enough slack on my bike. So I just had to zip tie them up into the frame out of the way. So once you have the brake calipers removed on both the left and right side, you're going to loosen these 2 axle pinch bolts. There's 2 on each side. You don't need to remove them all the way. You're just going to want to loosen them. The next step is going to be to use your front axle tool, and you're going to place it in the axle like that. Put your screwdriver or whatever you're going to use through there. You're going to hold that in place, and then grab your 30mm socket and remove that front axle. This bolt was not very hard to remove. I think the torque value is like 63 Newton meters, so it's not on there super tight. Once you have your front axle bolt off, there's a couple of spacers in there. So there's 2 spacers on this side. There's a little pin or a little one there, and then there's a larger one. Now mine looked like it could go in, be put back in either direction, one way versus the other. But I just took note of which way it was so that way I could put it back exactly how it was. And then there's a little spacer on the other side. Overall, it's pretty simple to take out. Like I said, those torque values on all those pins aren't very high. When you replace the front axle back in, you're going to want to put some grease on that, as well as the bolts that are holding on the brake calipers. The torque value for that front axle, nut is going to be 63 Newton meters. The pinch bolts that are underneath here, those are going to be 19 Newton meters. And then there's those 2 bolts for the brake calipers. Those are going to be held in at 45 Newton meters. Like I said, it's really simple to do once you have your triple tree on there. I highly recommend doing your tires yourself. It's kind of a fun little project. And like I said, really simple to do. Well, good luck and ride safe.